Car registration hit me last month. $340. Completely wrecked my budget. When did you last register the car? A year ago to the day. So it was coming for 12 full months and still felt like a surprise. I forgot about it. And then there it was. That's a sinking fund problem. Or more precisely, the absence of one. What's a sinking fund? A dedicated savings category for an expense you know is coming, divided into equal monthly contributions so that when the bill arrives, the money is already there waiting for it. So I should have been saving like $28 a month for 12 months for the registration. And when December came, you'd have opened a folder, transferred $340, and the budget wouldn't have felt a thing. That's actually really simple. It's almost embarrassingly simple. That doesn't make it any less effective. Your budget is not being ruined by bad luck. It is being ruined by predictable expenses that were never planned for. The car registration that comes every 12 months. The annual insurance premium that bills once or twice a year. The holiday gifts that arrive in December with the same dependable certainty as the calendar itself. The quarterly subscription that charges every 90 days. The medical deductible that gets hit every spring. The home repair that is not a matter of if, but when.
None of these are emergencies. An emergency is something unexpected, something that arrives without warning and cannot be anticipated. A car registration has a due date. Holiday gifts have a calendar date. Your annual dental visit has a scheduled frequency. These are expenses you know exist, know are coming, and have simply not built a financial container to hold until they arrive. A sinking fund is that container.
The term sinking fund comes originally from the world of corporate debt management, where it referred to money set aside over time to retire a large obligation at a specific future date, essentially making a large payment manageable by dividing it into many small ones. Bankrate has documented in its annual emergency savings surveys that irregular, large, infrequent expenses are consistently cited as one of the primary reasons household budgets feel unstable month to month. Not because the costs themselves are extraordinary, but because they arrive as interruptions to a budget that was built only for regular monthly expenses.
The concept is genuinely simple. Take any large, infrequent expense you know is coming. Estimate its cost as accurately as you can. Count the number of months between now and when it is due. Divide the expected cost by the number of months. That result is your monthly sinking fund contribution. You move that amount to a dedicated savings category or separate savings account each month until the date arrives. When the bill lands, you transfer the accumulated amount to your checking account and pay it without the slightest disruption to your regular budget.
$340 for car registration owed in 12 months. 340 East 12, $28.33 per month. A $1,200 annual home insurance premium paid in 6 months. F200 U6, $200 per month. $500 estimated for holiday gifts arriving in 9 months. $500 U9, $55.55 per month. These are not dramatic numbers individually. Combined, they represent the difference between a budget that absorbs the ordinary costs of life without disruption and one that feels perpetually under siege by expenses that were never actually unpredictable.
Dave Ramsey includes sinking funds as a core component of the budget framework he has taught for decades, describing them as a way to make every irregular expense into a regular monthly line item. effectively smoothing the financial experience of living in a world where costs do not arrive at convenient, evenly spaced intervals. Jesse Meckham, whose YNAB platform is built around zero-based budgeting, has designed the concept of true expenses directly into the YNAB budgeting methodology, the idea being that irregular annual costs should be included in every monthly budget at their prorated share, never treated as external disruptions.
Here is a practical starting list of sinking funds worth building for most households.
Vehicle-related, registration, annual inspection, routine maintenance, such as oil changes and tyre rotation, and a general car repair fund that sets aside a monthly amount in anticipation of the non-routine repairs that are inevitable over any multi-year period of car ownership. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration data on vehicle maintenance costs suggests the average car requires several $100s of non-routine repair per year in aggregate.
Home-related. Renters need a household repair fund for appliances and smaller fixes even without owning the property. Homeowners need a significantly larger fund. The commonly cited guideline from real estate financial planning is to budget 1 to 2% of the home's value per year for maintenance and repairs.
Annual and seasonal bills. Insurance premiums paid annually or semi-annually, property taxes if not escrowed, any subscriptions billed annually rather than monthly.
And predictable personal expenses, holiday gifts, known travel in the coming year, upcoming medical procedures or dental work, a child's school expenses, a planned large purchase.
The number of sinking funds that is appropriate depends on your specific financial situation. Starting with 3 to 5 is a practical starting point. Choose the irregular expenses that have most disrupted your budget in the past year. Build those funds first. Add more as the system becomes familiar.
There is one counterintuitive aspect of sinking funds that surprises most people who build them for the first time. Maintaining multiple savings categories, each with a small monthly contribution, does not increase the total amount of money leaving your paycheck. The money was always going to be spent on these things. The car registration, the insurance premium, the holiday gifts were always going to require payment. A sinking fund does not create a new expense. It redistributes an existing expense across 12 monthly contributions rather than delivering it as one disruptive annual hit. The total cost of the year's expenses is identical. The monthly cash flow experience is dramatically smoother.
The Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances notes that households with dedicated savings for irregular expenses report significantly lower financial stress ratings than households with similar incomes who manage irregular expenses reactively. The reduction in financial stress is not produced by having more money. It is produced by having a plan for the money that already needed to be spent.
Your budget does not need more income to become more stable. It needs a container for every expense that was already coming, so that when it arrives, it finds a prepared place to land rather than an unprepared budget to disrupt.
Start with the expense that hit you hardest in the last 12 months. Calculate the monthly contribution. Open a savings category or a sub-account and name it specifically. Fund it on your next payday. When the bill arrives next time, you will already be ready for it.
So a sinking fund is just saving in advance for something I already know is coming. You divide the total cost by the months until it's due. The monthly number goes into a dedicated category. My registration was $340. 12 months out, That's less than $30 a month. And next December, you open the envelope and the money is there. Budget feels nothing. Why did nobody ever explain this to me before? Most people learn it the hard way. One surprise bill at a time until eventually you realize none of them were actually surprises. I've had the same car for 7 years. The registration has never been a surprise. I just never prepared for it. That's the whole thing. Most emergencies are just expenses that needed a calendar.